What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Rats Report. It is time to talk about the Toronto Raptors because they have signed yet another player to a 10-day contract. And I feel really strongly about this player that I'm going to be discussing in today's video. So if you're ready to watch, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you wish to hit the like button as well, that'd be very much appreciated. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. Now, as you guys know, I do like to give out shout outs on my channel. And the shout out for today's video goes out to the Cis Doctors. So thank you so much for supporting this channel through your likes and comments. It is very much appreciated. And shout out to Raptors Update on Instagram. They reported that the Toronto Raptors have signed Orlando Robinson to a 10-day contract. Now, who is Orlando Robinson? Well, let's quickly talk about this because he does play the center position. He's only 24 years old. He weighs 235 pounds. He has an enormous wingspan of 7 foot 4 inches and has played 3 seasons in the NBA and was undrafted. Now, Orlando Robinson was a player that was waived by the Sacramento Kings just very recently, and this came approximately the same day, I believe, as the Raptors waived Bruno Fernando as well. A lot of people were actually hoping that the Raptors would sign Orlando to a 10-day contract. So let's quickly take a look at his G League statistics here before we talk about some of his strengths and weaknesses. So as you see there, he's played 3 seasons in the G League, only 2 games the last couple seasons, but his latest season in the G League averaged 20.5 points a game, shot 45.5% from the field, only shot 18% from the three-point line, which we will discuss later in the video, averaged only 4.5 rebounds a game, 4 assists, 2.5 blocks, and a steal per game. So Orlando Robinson, let's talk about some of his strengths. He passes the ball well for a big man. Now, I'm not saying he's Nikola Jokic, but when you watch some of his highlights, he makes smart reads and he's always constantly finding his teammates for a very nice pass. He also uses his length very well when he's finishing around the basket. When you look at some of his highlights, I'm not going to say Giannis because I don't want to compare every single player to Giannis. He is 7 foot. He's close to 7 foot. Without his shoes, he's about measures around 6'10", 6'11". But he's got this enormous, gigantic wingspan, and you really see it on full display when he's attacking the basket and he stretches his arms out. It's a sight to behold because he has got such a unique game, which again we will go through as we talk about some of his strengths and weaknesses, but also just his arms, how enormous they are. It's mind blowing. It really is. He's also an extremely high IQ basketball player. So when we talk about basketball players making the right decisions, making the right plays, this is what Orlando does. And again, a really good player to have in Darko's system, considering that we really need players that are able to not only move the ball well, but understand the game of basketball at a very high level. And that's something that Orlando does extremely well. Now, despite being such an enormous size, he does move quite well for his size. When you notice some of his defensive highlights, you'll notice that he's not Rudy Gobert. He's not, again, he's not Giannis in terms of his shot blocking ability or how he's defending guys. But one thing he does is he moves his feet, excuse me, quite well, and he's able to keep up with some of his defenders, despite the fact that he is 7 foot. He also has a really nice floater to his game. When you watch some of his highlights on the offensive side, when he gets the ball within about 5 feet, 6 feet, he has this nice floater he likes to use, and he constantly goes to it to help him get some baskets as well. And most importantly, as you saw based on the statistics, he contests shot really well. He gets a lot of blocks, and again, he's a smart defender, a sound defender, and he moves his feet fairly well. I'm not going to say really well, but he moves his feet fairly well for a 7 foot center, and he's able to keep up with most of the defenders. And again, this all kind of just ties into when we talk about how he's a high IQ basketball player. He reads the plays really well, and even on the defensive side as well. I apologize to Chris Boucher just considering how well he's been playing, and I hate to use him as a constant example, but he's not going to be someone that's jumping off his feet constantly, getting bailed or getting fooled pretty much by a pump fake. So again, respect to Chris Boucher, but he's not that type of player. He's a very sound defender who's got his feet planted, and when he does block shots, it definitely helps that he's got a 7 foot 4 wingspan. So he's got a lot of strength to his game, and he is a very unique player. And again, I don't necessarily like to throw around this term of the Raptors found a hidden gem, but there are a lot of good qualities to him that I really, really like. And we'll summarize as we get towards the end of the video. But as always, it's always important to talk about a player's strengths and weaknesses. So let's get to the weaknesses part as well. One of the things Orlando does not do really well is he does not shoot the three-point ball really well. So as we saw with his three-point percentage in the G League, only 18%, and it's kind of a strange thing for Orlando because he is able to hit a lot of threes. I'm not saying he's not Steph Curry or Karl Anthony Towns by any means in terms of big man being able to shoot threes, but there are sometimes points where he does hit threes, but overall he's not a good three-point shooter. Now, this one I've gotten an asterisk here. I wrote he is not a great athlete. Now, I will discuss this towards the end when we get to our other points as well, but he's not a good free throw shooter, unfortunately. So with centers, the main concern with them is always can they shoot and then can they hit their free throws because that allows teams to play them in late game situations. And unfortunately for Orlando, he just does not shoot the three-point ball really well. His shot mechanics could use work. So again, if Darko could fix Ochai Abaji's shot, and we've seen what how well Ochai has been shooting, to have Orlando in our system would be absolutely amazing. Maybe we can work on his shot mechanics as well because it's really funky and it almost reminded me of another Miami Heat player that, he obviously did play for Miami Heat, but Orlando we're talking about, but former Miami Heat player in Hassan Whiteside. So occasionally Whiteside, excuse me, would shoot threes and hit them as well. But the issue with him is he always had this funky looking shot, almost as if when you have your NBA 2K player created they make their threes, but they have a really funky looking shot. Kind of reminds me a little bit of when Orlando shoots his three-point shots. But again, this is what I want to talk about when we talk about he's not a great athlete is jack of all trades, master of none. Now, when we talk about players, a lot of players get made fun of at times for having a single triple, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. He's actually someone that can do that. Now, this you could always ask yourself, why is this in a weakness and why not his strengths? So when we talk about how he's not a great athlete, it's not that he's a terrible athlete, but he's a decent athlete. He's not a great athlete because he's 7 foot. He's got an enormous, gigantic wingspan of 7 foot 4 inches. You would think he'd be a great athlete. He's a decent athlete. He's not a bad athlete, but he's also not great. You're not going to see him soaring for some massive dunks, but of course, given his size, he can definitely dunk the ball as well. And similarly to when we talk about jack of all trades, master of none, he's not very quick on his feet, but he's not very slow-footed either. So if that makes sense, he's not great at a lot of things and he's not bad at a lot of things. He's decent at a lot of things, which makes him good. He's not, again, he's not someone that's going to score 25, 30 points, but he can give you points. He's not a horrible offensive player, but he's a decent offensive player. He's not, again, not an explosive athlete. He's a decent athlete. He's not very quick on his feet, but he's pretty good. He's not bad. He's not great, but he's good. So again, a lot of the qualities we talk about with Orlando Robinson, he's not someone that's going to give you, 25 points and nothing else. He's not a master of one specific area. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like this, but when you think of someone like Jonte Porter, he was able to do a lot of things on the court. And one of the reasons that I liked him a lot, and one of the reasons that the Raptors liked him a lot, was because he was able to do so many little things on the offensive and on the defensive side. And as those are some of the similar qualities I see in Orlando Robinson. And take my word as you will, I truly believe that, given if he gets the opportunity to get some playing time with the Toronto Raptors or even impresses in the G League, do not be surprised if they sign him to a second 10-day contract, particularly because they do not have a lot of depth at the center position, but also just given Kelly Olynyk being in the rumor mill, it would not surprise me one bit if Orlando ended up the season with the Toronto Raptors and is going to be one of those players that impresses a lot of fans because a lot of the qualities that Kelly has, Orlando has as well. Now, again, besides the three-point shooting and his free throws could use a lot of work, he's quite mobile. He passes the ball really, really well. And that's, again, some of the similar qualities in Kelly, but he is younger. You can work with him, you can develop him a little bit more. And again, this may not be the best example or one that a lot of people hope for. Pretty much when you watch some of his highlights on the offensive side, that's kind of what you hope Ulrich Chomche can become, right? In terms of just having an inside game, hitting a floater, again, occasionally hitting threes as well. So hopefully Orlando does improve on that over time. But I truly feel like the Toronto Raptors got a really good one in Orlando Robinson. So what are your thoughts on this signing? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I do have a trivia question for you today. And since we're talking about Orlando Robinson, let's discuss which college did Orlando Robinson go to? Was it A, Arizona? Was it B, Fresno State? Was it C, Duke? Or was it D, Oregon? So whoever answers this trivia question correctly first in the comment section gets a shout out in my next video. So that will be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.